So the idea today, for the people that may start coming in, is to actually be a super chill chess session and kind of like a non-formal interview with Mariana Silva, who was representing Portugal during the 45th Chess Olympiad. And I don't know exactly how I should introduce you, so might as well be you who do the honors. So, who are you to the chess community, Mariana?
Um, so I am Mariana. I have been playing chess for 11, 12 years. And yeah, I've been part of the national team for 4 years now. This was my 4 years, no, for Olympiads. This was my fourth Olympiad.
Okay.
And yeah, not a lot of a lot more to say.
So you have you have been representing Portugal for like 8 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, for Olympiads and well, if you count the youth championships, that's
Ah, yeah.
a bit more. But yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to like the experience overall, do you think that this was one of the best or one of the worst or something somewhere in between? I don't know.
Um, I'm going to say it was actually one of the worst ones because we had better conditions before, like in previous Olympiads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, in Chennai, in India, which was the previous one before this one, we were like so nicely welcomed, and the conditions were just great, like the playing hall and the logistics and everything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'm going to say that this year the organization wasn't as good, but it's always fun. It's always a blast.
And so when you're talking about the organization, you're talking about exclusively the stuff that FIDE arranges and not anything that the Portuguese Chess Federation arranges?
Yeah, well, actually, the travels which were arranged by the Portuguese Federation were also not ideal. But
Okay.
I was actually referring like to transfers from our hotels to the playing hall in itself. Then it rained and it was a lot of traffic. There was just a few things that didn't go perfect. As in, for example, Chennai was just perfect in every aspect.
Okay. So, and everything that you just mentioned also could be um, affecting the performance in the games as well, naturally.
Yeah, I guess, but it is the same for everyone, right? So
Yeah,
that's not
it
much of an
levels
excuse.
out. It levels out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just let me welcome the people that are coming in. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's a different stream that you may be used to. Today, we're going to be talking to Mariana, and uh, when you, I know that people are asking about the camera. I know that sometimes the video may buffer a bit, but I don't know if the camera stands still for a lot of time. I think that I can refresh it manually and it will go and become a bit better.
Yeah. I
But
think I am frozen,
you
actually,
are?
from what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes it moves a bit, but I don't know. I'm still getting okay, it's going okay. Yeah. So sometimes it will move, sometimes it will stand still, but it's life. Okay. As long as you can hear her, it is the most important part. But yeah. So when it comes to the like the process of being selected to the national team, um, do you know like everybody else through the Instagram post that the federation makes, or do you know like beforehand?
Actually, it depends. This year, when they posted
Yeah.
like the announcement on the website and on social media, that's when we knew. But some years, previous years, we have received calls before, so I think it just depends a little bit. But yeah, mostly I think we know when the announcement is out.
Okay. Okay. And when it comes to your teammates, were you expecting the faces that you saw there, or do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I guess most of the names were
Okay.
easy to define beforehand.
Okay, okay, okay. And what how do you feel like the dynamics between the players affect the performance? Do you think that everybody goes in and plays the game individually, or do you think that there are some components in terms of how you like work together and get along together that influence the results?
No, definitely. Like it's very nice to have a good environment on the team. So it's a team tournament after all. So there are various moments throughout the Olympiad that you have to play for the team and be together with your teammates as a having a final goal. So yeah, I think it really helps to have good environment and to you know have strong bonds with the team, which I can say is the case for us.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the follow, super anonymous, by the way. And then when it comes to like playing an Olympiad versus playing a regular tournament, does your preparation differ at all?
Um, For me, I'm going to say that not much. I think I prepare more or less always the same way. But in the Olympiad, there is one thing that is a little bit different, which is that like on the night before, which team you are going to play, but you don't know the actual player until like 4 or 5 hours before the game. So the captains have to input the team lineup,
Mm-hmm.
and you only get access to your actual opponent on the morning after. So it might be a bit different that, for instance, the night before, I will check two different opponents, and then in the morning after, I will like confirm what I have checked because there
Yeah.
are always two options on each board that you can play.
And
So yeah, that's maybe a little bit different.
yeah, and what is like the role specifically of the team captain in an Olympiad?
So the team captain chooses the lineup and
Mm-hmm.
inputs it every day, which is a very important task because if you forget to do it, you will only play like with the four top boards. So if, for instance, you have a lineup in mind and then you forget to to deliver it or something, only like the four top boards will be playing and the reserve will be left out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very important role. The other important role is like to help the team prepare, to help like identify the goals of the team and prepare everyone for the same goals. And the rules have actually like changed recently, but in my first Olympiad, and I think the second one was as well, you could ask the captain every time you were offered a draw or you wanted to
Ah,
repeat or something like that, so that you would know if that was a good idea for the team or not. But now that is forbidden. Now you can talk to the
you can
captain at all
communicate.
anytime.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that is because of the anti-cheating measures, probably, right?
yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess.
And
I
is it?
don't remember how it was in Chennai, but sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
in this Olympiad, it was like strictly forbidden, and they kept reminding us that we could not ever speak to the captain.
And is it like a rumor, or is it true that the captain cannot see your games from the perspective of the opposing team?
Yeah, it's 100% true.
Ah, okay. Like in order to not be any type of communication between you,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
between
don't
the
know if you
players and
know
the
this,
captain.
but there was like a massive cheating scandal in an Olympiad with I think it was a French team many years back. I don't really remember which Olympiad it was, and after that they started like making very strict rules for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually know that because I had a conversation with the international master Antonio Freis, and
Hmm.
he talked about that. Basically, like the captain was standing behind the players and making like
Yeah,
uh, I don't know, like moves specifically to a certain point, indicating that the position was winning or that there was a tactic, and they had like a code.
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
I think it was something like he hinted at which piece they should play or which square,
Yeah.
and then because they were all strong grandmasters, they like figured it out with that with little
Y-
help.
yeah, exactly. Like if you had access to an eval bar during a game, you could easily
For
like spot the
instance, yeah,
tactics. Yeah, because you knew that there was something there.
yeah. Often that's
Um,
like the most difficult to know that there is something there.
yeah, that is the key part. Yeah. So there's a question from the audience. Lexus asks, like from a little bit behind, uh, you only have a few hours to prepare each game. How do you do that? Yeah, like how do you manage to only have a few hours?
You do what you have to do and hope that your opponents also is struggling because they also only have those few hours to prepare as well. But in my experience, it helped a bit to check a little bit on the previous night because you know which color you are playing and you know which board, right? So you have two options, and often if you check like this opponent plays e4 and this opponent plays e4 too, but a different thing inside e4, that also helps. Already helps because next morning you already know how long more or less you need to prepare. So
Okay, yeah,
yeah, I did
and
that.
if you know like the most probable opponent, you can actually zero in on the day, really, and
Yeah,
perhaps go more into. Um, oh,
yeah, that did happen a lot.
Mr. Carlos Novaes has subscribed using the Prime subscription. Thank you, Mr. Novaes. Thank you. Also, there's like a Zulpt asking if the Portuguese team captain can scream "Siu" like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Sadly, I don't think so. But actually, I was asked almost every single day something like, I think it was my sister who was asked once, like, where we had this thing where we left the phones right before the game. So you,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but like a place where we had a box for our team and we left things there. And this guy who was working there once asked her if Cristiano Ronaldo was her uncle. So everyone who met her was like, Ronaldo, Ronaldo. And we were like, yeah, it is the same country indeed.
Do you think that Ronaldo still in the chess world is like the figure that Portugal gravitates towards in terms of recognition?
It seems so. Yeah, it seems.
But like speaking in terms of chess, the Ronaldo of chess, like Magnus Carlsen, did you have any interaction with
Mm.
him?
Not this Olympiad. I saw him play. Like we were all in the same playing hall.
Yeah,
There was like this very funny story, which I'm sure you all saw, that he rode a bike to one of the games in
yeah.
one of the days where the traffic was terrible in Budapest. So yeah, he was there playing.
And do you think also like in terms of I don't know how to say it, but perhaps aura or like do I don't know, like the way he owns the room. I've seen people talking about the way that a certain player has certain level of charisma and like the amount of pressure that they
Mm.
put on the other player, on their opponent. Do you think that Magnus does that, or did you not have the opportunity to feel that because you obviously didn't play him?
Yeah, I guess you could say that about him. I guess you can, because he's very like, he always plays for a win, and there he is this massive superstar, right? And all of his opponents are very aware of that. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess I understand what you say, but I think there are some other players who have this um, aspect as well to them. Like for instance, Eddie Gazi, the Indian player who is now like number 4 in the
Yeah,
world, I think.
Arjun.
He
Yeah.
definitely is like that as well. Yeah, Arjun. He like exudes this immense confidence when playing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
In
I would say it's not a Magnus thing.
Okay, yeah. And speaking of the Indian team, do you think that how do you perceive Gukesh in terms of like the way he's been growing and the way he's been building up his strength up to the match of like November with Ding? How do you see him
She,
there? Because he had a
yeah.
huge performance there.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like I have to say, I think he is really world champion material. Well, only time will tell, of course, but I do think he is going to win the match, or at least has like very fair chances of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an incredible player and such a good team player as well. Kept saying in interviews throughout the whole Olympiad how it was so important for him to win the games for the team and win the team medal. He wasn't even thinking about like the gold medal, individual gold medal, because I think he could like have not played the final game and still won an individual gold medal for his board, the first
Yeah.
board. But he chose to play anyway because the most important thing was the team. So I think I'm a fan of Gukesh. I think he is a very good player. Like he has a very calm energy when playing, and definitely a team player, which is also
Yeah,
great.
and also if you factor in his age, it becomes very interesting the way he conducts himself and the I don't know, like the vibe that he transmits is always of
So true.
control.
Yeah.
Like control
Yeah.
both in terms of chess and also in interviews. He's always like 2 steps ahead in terms of his emotions are always in check. I don't know, but it feels like he may be
Yeah.
the next big thing next to Magnus perhaps because he's super young. Um,
Yes, yeah, it's very, very true. He's not the only one though. generation has so many very, very
Yeah,
talented players,
the
but
Indian
I do,
team is godlike.
yeah, yeah.
There's another question here from Isha TV. So I'm gonna read it. Many powerful women chess players have hinted at the idea of removing women titles, particularly Judith Polgar and Alexandra Botes, and maybe Belenkaya. What is your take on this hot topic?
So yeah, this is a hot topic for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of see both sides of the thing. Like growing up, I was very much on the side of removing women's titles. Like I felt there shouldn't be a reason. If you believe, which I obviously believe, that there is no reason a woman should perform worse than a man at chess. There is no reason that a woman grandmaster title and a separate grandmaster title should exist. I still feel this way, but I also see the other side of how women's titles can help bring attention and positive things to women who are trying to make careers out of chess. So yeah, I'm a bit on the fence about it, but I do have to say that recently Judith Polgar, she made this proposal on Twitter, which maybe this is what the person who is asking the question is referring to, because
Mm-hmm.
this was like very much debated when she said this, that women's titles could be like not removed but replaced by a gender neutral version of a title, that you could, for instance, when you are 2000 you could claim this title
Yeah.
whether you are a man or a woman, and then 2100 another title, uh, which I don't know what the names would be, but clearly not woman FIDE master or woman international master.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah,
like regional master before the national
yeah,
master.
something like, I don't know, something like good master or whatever, something that you could claim at a certain like
Yeah,
rating level.
street master, like Simon Dragon is saying. I like street
Yeah,
master.
street master. Yeah, I like that. And I do kind of like this proposal because this would mean that you are not removing women's titles, um, and but you are like replacing them with something that men can also attain to, and they lose like this uh, negative connotation that sometimes people give to women's titles. So yeah, I guess that this could be a good idea. I don't think it's going to happen, honestly, but I do think it could be a good idea.
Yeah, I've seen that proposal from Judith too, because mainly the argument that she was making was that there were a lot of young women who were very good at chess, but they would perhaps hinder their improvement by stopping at a certain
Yeah.
level when they reach a woman title and not like go further like she once did. And she was trying to get rid of that. But I also get
Yeah.
the argument. uh, like I know that there are a lot of women who have that objective and that perhaps play chess, and we get more women playing chess when they have a more attainable title. I get that idea.
Yeah. I do think one thing that I do think about this is that there are so many issues related to women's chess and female participation in chess that I think sometimes people lose a lot of time talking about this when there are some other like
Other issues.
bigger issues in
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's obviously a very interesting question, and my opinion has actually kind of changed a little bit throughout my life. Like as well, for example, in women's only tournaments, I never could understand them growing up, and now
Okay.
I definitely understand them, and I really like to play women's only tournaments. It's a very different environment usually, and I have a lot of fun in them. So it's, you kind of like, you grow and you and you learn a little bit, and you change your mind sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Also, thank you to your sister Inês Silva from following.
I wonder what she's doing here. I don't know.
um, and once it comes to like those like teeth moment where you are trying to grind half a point to get a certain result in terms of the global result of the team, do you usually fare well, or do you cave a bit under that pressure and
Mm,
not succeed
that's a
in
good
grinding it?
question. That's
Yeah.
a very good question. I actually didn't have any moment like this, I think, in this
Okay.
Olympiad. If
Okay.
memory serves me well, I don't think I went through that, but I did that very poorly in the past. Like, there was this game in my second Olympiad in 2018, which I needed, I was completely winning, and the team was up to, how was it, 2-1, I think. So I only needed a draw, and I was completely winning. I spoiled the win completely, and then I got so nervous that I lost like a completely drawn rook endgame, and we ended up drawing 2-2 instead of winning 2.5 or 3-1. And that was terrible back then. I remember that I was very, very nervous, and I performed so badly in that moment. I like to think that now it wouldn't be so bad because I'm a better player and also more mature, I would think. But
Yeah.
I don't know. This Olympiad didn't really put me to the test in that situation.
And once the games end, like everybody on your team ends their match, like what happens? Do you go to sleep, or do you? What do you
Yeah.
do?
You go back to the hotel first if you are lucky that the bus is there waiting for you.
Yeah.
Uh, if not, you will have to wait a little bit. And then when you go back to the hotel, I guess you have dinner, or maybe sometimes you get together with your teammates, you discuss like what happened throughout the games. But sometimes we also chat with members of the open team to see how their games went. We usually have dinner together, wait for the pairings. When the pairings come out, we usually do that thing I told you about, um, checking the two potential opponents and
Yeah.
talking a little bit as a team to see like what our chances are, and then we go to sleep, something like that, more or less.
Okay. And how do you think like the team morale is after a defeat or versus a win? Do you think that affects what you do after the game, or do you think that it was fairly similar?
No, definitely a bit. Like if you lose or if many players of the team have a rough day, I think you don't want to, I don't know, stay as long and chat as much. But we did that regardless. We have like I said, we have a good environment on our team, and we win or lose, we would just like stay with each other and talk to each other. And yeah, but I do think like, for example, you are in a hotel when you are playing with many different teams, and some of the teams are like strong teams. They have like big goals, and if their games go not as planned, you will see that maybe they like go to dinner but very quickly and go back to their rooms, and that's just normal.
Okay. Okay. And also, when it comes to representing Portugal, do you feel any different level of pressure that you usually do once you are like representing a local team that you represent in the national league?
Um, that's a good question. I would say like earlier, like in my first Olympiad,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely felt like it was a, a lot of pressure to represent Portugal. No, it's like such a big thing at the most important team event in the world. So you definitely feel the pressure a bit. But I would say that now I am a bit more used to it, and I take everything seriously. Like I take my team's games very seriously as well, and I take the national team's games very seriously too. So
And
yeah,
also,
I don't think there's much of a difference.
can you compare like the experience of playing in like an Olympiad representing Portugal as a team versus going to like European youth when you were like national champion?
Hmm. Yeah, it's very different because the team element in it, it's very different. Like you many times you are, you can be totally winning or totally lost, and your half point will matter a lot more. Uh, Another thing is that the pairings don't really depend on how you perform. They depend on how the team performs. So you, for example, there is a very good example of this in this Olympiad. I lost a very bad game when we played against Botswana, and we lost 3-1. So we won. Sorry, we won 3-1. I lost my match individually,
Okay.
and I lost to a player who was 1700 rated. But then on the next day, despite this very bad loss, because the team won, I had a much stronger game against a player who was 1900, like nearly 2000 rated. And so this is a very different aspect of Olympiads. Like you can have a bad tournament and still play strong player after strong player because it doesn't really depend on you. So that's a big difference. And then the whole team aspect of wanting the team to do well, sometimes having to sacrifice certain things for the team,
Yeah.
and all of that.
And the mental aspect must be top notch in order to sustain a certain level of performance there.
Yeah, but that's always the case in chess, right? So
It is, yeah, it is.
yeah.
Okay, so another question from the audience. Azul PT asks, is the stress of the games and to perform take away from the opportunity to socialize and make friends during those global events?
I would say no. there is like many chances to socialize, to make friends, and an event like this is like such an opportunity for someone who loves chess. You know, you are eating, breathing, sleeping chess all of the time, but you also, um, I don't know, it makes sense for you to meet and I don't know, socialize with people, and definitely like there is a very socializing aspect to an Olympiad as well.
Who was like the most famous or most I don't want to use the word famous, but like the most powerful perhaps, or the strongest chess player that you have following your Instagram after the Olympiad?
uh, this year, actually, Timur Rajabov asked to follow me during the Olympiad. So yeah, there is a little spilling the beans for you. I would say it's probably him.
Okay, very nice. Okay, another question from Nisha TV. As you grew in the sport, what did you develop as your main strength? Intuitive, system 1 thinking, or calculative, system 2 thinking?
I have no idea what this means, like the system one and system two thinking.
I
Uh,
think that it, I don't know, perhaps the way the brain process information, but I'm not sure as well.
um,
But yeah,
I would
so
say like I'm a
are you
very
more an
intuitive
intuitive
person.
player, or do you calculate more?
I think maybe more intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like I would consider myself to be a more positional player. Like I'm not as strong in calculation, I would say, as I am in conceptual um, positional chess. But on the other hand, I do think I am more intuitive in my way of thinking, like in life, not just chess.
And do you think there is a major handicap in terms of how the Portuguese players perform? And like I talk against myself too because I'm mainly, I don't know, like more hardcore in terms of strategy, and I play through concepts and whatnot. And perhaps if we did the hard work like the Indian team, like pure calculation based since a young age, do you think that we would get different results?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we will never know unless we try. I don't know. But we do have very good calculators in Portugal as well. I think it depends a lot on your personality in chess and your way of thinking, but there are many different ways of being a good player. It's possible to be a very good player, like more conceptual, as you said, but it's also possible to get the exact same results through pure calculation, I would say. And it just it depends a bit. And then the players who are like very strong, which we have some of those as well in Portugal, they are good in everything basically.
Yeah, yeah. I think that we as chess players usually rely on intuition because at the end of the day, when you have like 1 minute on the clock, you can't calculate as smoothly, or like when you're playing a,
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
you need to live on what you feel, and what you feel is like the sum of the positions that you studied at home, like everything that you've seen, and how you feel the
Yes.
position is what you play on that very moment.
Yes,
um,
that's true. Even though this is not my case because I am very bad at blitz, usually it's said that players who are very uh, good strategically and positionally are very good at blitz because they have this intuition that guides them throughout the whole game. So they just know where the pieces go to normally. They understand the structure and they play like almost automatically. And this
yeah,
is usually said, like for instance, Kramnik is very good at blitz for this reason.
but Kramnik nowadays is usually occupied in doing
Yeah,
the procedure.
it's true. It is true, but well, maybe
Oh, and
former Kremlins.
yeah, and even at the Olympiad, he was like making accusations to chess base India. Um, I don't know if you are familiar with the channel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he like the gentleman that is in front of that channel is probably like one of the nicest.
He is. It's
It
true.
is right. He's so
Yeah,
nice, and Kramnik was hitting on that man. My God. But yeah. Did you see? Did you see him there?
Kramnik. Actually, I'm trying to think. I don't remember seeing him. I know he was there, but I don't actually remember coming across him in the
Okay.
playing hall. But I do know he was there. He was as the captain of Uzbekistan, I think.
Ah, okay. Okay. And did you see Gukesh?
Yes, I did see Gukesh. It's funny because the toilets were like in this place in the playing hall, and sometimes I went through one door to the toilet, and then I would like make a mistake because I was thinking of the game in my head or something, and go back in the playing hall through another door, and this other door was in the very near the very first boards for the women's and open section, and sometimes I was just like trying to find my way back to the board, and I was very near the first board, so I did see Gukesh a lot because of this, because of my confusion with the doors.
Another question from the audience. Teresa Del Rey 222 asks, "Who's the nicest male and female player you have ever encountered, or
This is a
perhaps in
very,
this
very
Olympiad?"
difficult
Yeah.
question. uh, I don't know. I will have to think more about that.
I just want
Sure.
to remind you that you played against me in Maya, if that helps answering
Yes,
your
yes,
question.
that is very true. And but I think I'm going to like it's going to be sound bad if I say that the nicest male player I've ever met is you, and the nicest female player is my sister, right? So I was trying to think of, of an original answer to that, but I don't know because well, luckily I've been in chess for a few years and have had so many good experiences like abroad and met so many people. So it's difficult because I met many great people.
Yeah, great, great. Also, Zulpt asks, how have you experienced the chess boom after COVID? Did you enjoy the inflow of so many new and casual players, or is it annoying somehow?
I have enjoyed it. I think it's cool to have so many people interested in chess. Like growing up, maybe if you played chess and you told people, "Oh, I'm a chess player," they would be like, "Oh, that's so boring. That's so nerdy." And nowadays, it's really not like that anymore. Is it's like people see it as a cool thing, and I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think chess has grown as a sport, but also as a social activity. Like people
Yes,
nowadays, I see a lot of people, a lot of friends that don't care about chess as a competition, but they have the Lee Chess app or the chess.com app on their
yes,
phone,
so
and they
true.
sometimes they play and they're rated like 200 or 300, but they have some fun like 15 minutes a day and that's it. But it's also part of the culture now to like
Yes,
at least have the chess app installed to play some games. I don't know.
yes, and I think that's really cool. Like it just shows that chess can be something fun that people do to, I don't know, stimulate their brains. And I don't know, there are so many benefits to chess. It's such a nice game that I'm very happy that other people get to experience it as well.
Also, Power Chess 95 asked the question in Portuguese, which I'll translate now. Um, what is your favorite tournament to play in Portugal? What is the best organized tournament in Portugal that you're in or that you like to play in?
Mm,
These are
um,
three questions, I feel.
yes, there. I'm going to say that this year I really enjoyed the Maya Chess Open.
Yeah.
And I also enjoyed Leicester Chess Open quite a lot. They are very well organized.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usually, the Portuguese Women's Championship is also always well organized and nice to play,
Mm-hmm.
despite the double rounds, which well, that's a bit worse, but that's fine too. Um, yeah, I'm going to say those. I'm going to go with those.
Okay, and how do you feel about the rating adjustment that FIDE made? Like the rating level or the original rating level being 1400 now? Chico asks.
I think it was a very good measure that Pitt tried to apply because the rating deflation was very real. It still is, but before this adjustment, it was so obvious, and we had so many players whose ratings were super low and they were performing much higher level than that. So I think it was a good way to try to battle this deflation of rating.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. So perhaps now it's the time to start a bit on the chess side of things, but you can, in
Yeah.
the audience, keep sending those questions, and I will, once I see them, I can pass them to Mariana as well, and we'll just keep going.